Hello and welcome back to this peek into the Pekoe Trail. Today I'm tackling stage 6 and the first half of stage 7. The day started in the absolute best way possible, with a very generous portion of the traditional Sri Lankan milk rice for breakfast. Fueled up and ready to go, I headed back out to the main road, walked along until I hit the train tracks. I crossed over and stepped up onto the trail and felt ready to crush the miles. Whilst it'd been raining most of the night before, thankfully that stopped just as I was setting off. It wasn't long, however, until I found myself back on the train tracks, and that is exactly where I suffered my very first leech bite of the day. Now, I actually prepared for this back in Colombo. I bought a pair of proper leech socks from the great outdoors, along with some essential oil leech spray. Now, I had been applying the leech spray to my shoes, but I hadn't bothered with the socks yet. The leech gave a quick sharp nip, and then I had to figure out how to remove the thing. I'd heard all sorts of old wives' tales about burning them off and throwing salt at them, but I didn't really fancy any of that. So I started with the flicking method, but that didn't really work. Swearing didn't really do anything either. The stick method wasn't the most successful, so finally I had to put the camera down. I brushed it off with a rock, which luckily seemed to do the trick. Just a few minutes later, a tiny baby leech landed on my ankle, but that time I was a little bit better prepared for removing it. Stage 6 continuously crisscrossed the train tracks. At this point I'd realised I'd taken a wrong turn, so I climbed up the tea field and back onto the official path. When I reached Talawakele train station, I took a little breather and got to learn about the history of the different trains that have served this beautiful hill country area over the years. I continued through the station, onto the railway tracks and along back onto the path. The route continues on what seemed to be the outskirts of the town, but there was a little shop placed just perfectly for me to buy another bottle of water. As I made the push up and out of town, I made yet another friend, my third and final leech of the day. Thankfully, this one just tried sucking blood out of the rubber of my shoe and never quite made it to greener pastures. From there, the route takes you past the St. Clair tea factory. From my research the night before, I was under the impression it had an attached tea shop selling their teas and chocolate cake. Imagine my disappointment when I realised that the actual shop was another 4 kilometres down the road. Needing a backup plan, I spotted a small cafe with a viewpoint a bit further down. I headed there instead and treated myself to a lovely warm milk tea overlooking the stunning Clair Waterfall. I continued down the main road for a little bit before finally being able to escape the traffic and get back onto the actual trail. And what did I find? More tea fields, obviously. Finally, I was at the end of stage 6, and a very late lunch was desperately needed. I stopped at Greenview Restaurant and thoroughly enjoyed the food, even if my milk tea was somehow double the price of the one I had earlier. No, there aren't wild elephants nearby. That's the official Pekoe Trail app telling me I've gone off course. After lunch, it was time to officially start stage 7. The first part takes you past several more tea factories, with the fantastic rich smells coming out of them being noticeable from quite a distance away. I crossed the train tracks a few more times, walking through some quiet small villages and just thoroughly enjoying the rhythm of the trail. Then I came around a beautiful countryside corner and suddenly had the view looking down into Hatton, which is where I'm staying tonight. From this viewpoint, it was just a short, pleasant walk down to DharLak Serene Stay. I checked in, relaxed, and enjoyed some incredible balcony views before heading downtown later in the evening to cap the day off with a delicious ghee dosa. If you found this peek into stage 6 and the start of 7 useful, give it a like and subscribe to the Peking Guide.